Trump's unending legal wars are resounding again. The former U.S. president's hush money case saw a crucial hearing today, though he's got some relief in the $454 million fraud bond deadline. A state appeals court has reduced the bond amount that Trump must pay in response to his civil fraud judgment. Trump has been given 10 days to pay $175 million US. Failure to do this would see the seizure of his assets. Trump's lawyers previously suggested that the appeal bond in the case be set at $100 million US. This is a significant win for Trump, who is otherwise facing a massive cash crunch. On the other hand, a New York judge has weighed in on the hush money case against him. The judge has agreed to begin the hush money trial from April 15th. Trump's legal team has sought a delay over hush money paid to adult star Stormy Daniels. The trial had been delayed because of the recent delivery of tens of thousands of pages of records from a previous federal investigation. Trump's lawyers still want the case dismissed or at least delayed beyond its current April 15th start date. His lawyers say they will be disclosing new material pertaining to Daniels. The former president has pleaded not guilty and says the prosecution is politically driven. The case centers on allegations that Mr. Trump falsely lodged $130,000 in payments as legal fees in his company's books. Trump's lawyers say the payment was meant to spare himself and his family from embarrassment. Susan Tehrani is our correspondent. She's now joining us live from New York. Susan Tehrani, today was a kind of double whammy for Donald Trump, if you look at it that way. Probably you can tell us more about the cases that he's facing.
Yeah, I mean, you described it perfectly, Eric. Really a busy day for the Trump family and also their attorneys as well. Some good news when it comes to that asset case. As you mentioned, $175 million now is the amount of bond as opposed to almost $500 million. And Donald Trump, when coming out of that courtroom, which he was in New York for the hush money case, courtroom, when he came out, he was asked last minute, how are you going to post that bond? And he said it's going to be in cash. So it seems that that's somewhat resolved as for now. The Stormy Daniels case seems to be the only case, while he does have a slew of convictions, alleged convictions against him, might be the only one that will actually go to trial with a jury. And that's expected, in mid-April, as you mentioned as well. But as we've seen with these cases and the complex and complexity of the legal system here in the United States, anything could happen between now and then. As you mentioned, this trove of documents that has been laid out for the Stormy Daniels hush money case to the Trump camp, it's going to take a very long time for them to try to go through. So we'll see what happens with that. But ultimately, I think this is a day that the Trump camp will sort of declare as a victory, not a very good day for Letitia James, who was, quote unquote, out to get Trump. But nonetheless, the former president continues to battle this court case as well, campaigning on the campaign trail just months away from the U.S. presidential elections.
Susan, as you're talking to us, we do understand that the former U.S. president Donald Trump is giving a speech somewhere and he's reacting to this case, and he seems and looks very disappointed and very angry. Do we know what he's supposed to react to some of these cases? And you did mention Letitia James.
Yeah, he's mostly angry about the Stormy Daniels hush money case. We heard him speak outside of that courtroom coming out. He said that Alvin Bragg, from a case that's, 3.5 years old, didn't really want to take this to trial. He was pressured politically by others to bring this hush money Stormy Daniels case to the forefront. He calls it a political witch hunt and says that if he wasn't running for president, none of these cases would be, leveled against him. He's disappointed at the trial that is expected for mid-April. Really, the Trump team has tried to push back these trials for the latest date possible. One, for campaigning. Two, for getting to these documents that they keep constantly getting on their table. And three, because if Donald Trump goes to the White House, or perhaps an ally, then, you know, these charges could be dropped against him. So I think the disappointment really is regarding the hush money case. He seemed pretty satisfied with the amount of bond and said that Letitia James was losing, so to say.
All right, I've been talking to our correspondent Susan Teherani live in New York. Susan, thank you. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.